We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Pizzeria, tip jar in 15 minutes. Double shot with Brad Powers. Hardcore college football coming up in half an hour as well. And Pauly and JJ all week looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And T. Rizzo to talk LeBron and futures in the NBA in about an hour. Okay, so MLB card today. Yankees already rained out. It's a monsoon in New York. So no good there, but a good call yesterday. You didn't. You backed off, and the Yankees won. You didn't want to give out the Pirates. How about, and Will Hill likes the Reds. Burns hasn't lost since April 10th. And I'm not a fan of Castillo. He's having a rough go of it. Reds are scuffling, but Burns has been so good. $1.20 now. Seattle total of 7.5 tonight in the late game. And how about this? And I know our guy Justin Emery gave it out too. Burns is 5-1 to have the most strikeouts tonight in the daily specials. But it's hard to go against this guy with how good he's been, and he got the big payday last week as well. What are your thoughts?
So you do have a revenge game for Luis Castillo going up against his former team. The problem is Luis Castillo, who was throwing the ball well at the beginning of the year, he not throwing the ball so good at the moment. I mean, the ERA is getting close to 5, for goodness sakes. The issue you have with both of these teams, probably nobody can score a run. Nobody can score. So your handicap on the game, if you like Cincinnati, you need Burns to go deep into this game because their pen stinks. That to me is incredibly problematic, where if this game is close in the late innings, Seattle is going to have a leg up on the Cincinnati bullpen. So that would scare me a little bit. My lean on the game, I'd take Cincinnati. I don't love it. It's, I think, getting a little too trendy for my liking, but there's no way I'm backing Castillo. So you're playing this one, it's Reds or pass, and how about the fact that the total, a measly 7.5 in the Pacific Northwest later on this evening.
Yeah, Reds 14-4 when Burns starts as well. And again, he's been awesome. Also, Justin likes, I don't mind this play either, in addition to the Phillies. Wheeler is 8-1 to have the most strikeouts tonight. And again, in his last two, 1 run, 24 Ks in 13 innings. And the Phillies are 13-2 when he starts. So we were all over Seattle. When are they going to flip the switch? What's going on? The problem can't hit. I'm giving up. It's not going to happen with the Blue Jays. It's not. Last in runs per game. Lost again. 1 run against the Rays. You mentioned it was a great price with Martinez and the Rays. They were 4th in offense last year. It just hasn't worked out. We're 100 games in now. And this is what Toronto, Vlad, still can't hit a home run at home. Tampa's 6-1 against them this year. And the Jays have lost 15 of 22. And here Tampa's a short favorite in this game tonight. I can't take the Jays. No way.
I don't blame you. And I'm sick to my stomach yesterday, Paulie, because I mentioned it on Follow the Money that Tampa's the right side of the game. And I didn't fire on the price. It was incredibly juicy going up against Dylan Cease. I said, Toronto, with the way they're playing offense and their inability to score runs, you can't be laying big numbers with the Blue Jays. That's just, it's criminal. It's insane. You're going to go and lay 175 with a team that can't score? Well, guess what? If you did yesterday, shame on you because Tampa took it to you. Like, I do have a rule, Paulie, with a lot of these baseball teams that are really good teams. And I would put Tampa, at least in the American League, in that category. Is a pretty good team. When you get them at really good prices, like very rare you're going to get Tampa sitting there at like plus 150, plus 155. I almost feel like in many of those cases, you could just play those blindly and you're going to end up coming out on the plus end of it because what you're betting on is get Cease out of the game. Then all of a sudden, that 175, you're frightened if you have Toronto. And if you're a Rays fan, you're like, wow. Or if you're betting a Rays, I should say, you have a much better number on it. You have a much better price on it. And I don't think Toronto's figuring it out this year. The more and more you watch this team, I don't know if it's the hangover of losing 6 and 7 of the Dodgers at home. I have no idea what's happened to Guerrero. Their lineup has no power. They can't hit the ball out of the ballpark. The magic that they had a year ago, it's not there. So that's a razor pass spot for me with Rasmussen, who has not been great. Got roughed up by the Yankees right before the All-Star break. But that's a Tampa pass for me.
Okay. And you've been on this. Will Hill mentioned it as well with some of the exactas. Detroit is a small dog against the Cubbies tonight. Since June, Detroit's number one in ERA and home runs. The 25 and 15. Green's been on fire. 11 bombs, 25 RBIs since June. And how about a fade of Peterson here, who's got the second worst ERA in baseball behind Freeland with the amount of innings there, what he's done. And again, since June, they've been awesome. I know the Cubbies have been playing good ball, but I think fade of Peterson here, and I think Detroit can win and go up and over the total as well.
I'm right there with you. Detroit, when we do our best bets, when we wrap it up with in-pocket plays, that's going to be an in-pocket play for me. I love the Tigers. The Tigers have been riding them a bunch over the last couple of weeks. It's been profitable. It's worked out well. They were 7-3 in their last 10. They had a dramatic game last night. Kenley Jansen works out of a big jam in the bottom half of the ninth inning. They go and score a boatload of runs in the top half of the 10th. The only question I would have for you, Pauly, why is this line basically a pick 'em? Help me out on this, because I like Detroit. I'm betting Detroit. Shouldn't Detroit be favored in this game with this pitching matchup? Or am I misreading this completely?
Well, it was kind of like Tyone yesterday, too. I mean, the Cubs have a good record. I know they've been schizophrenic, but still with that record and at home, I don't think you can make them a dog or that, I think the price is about right, though. What do you think it should be? Detroit, $1 what?
I would have made it Detroit. I would have made Detroit minus 120, 120.
Really? Okay.
Small.
Yeah.
Yeah, has anybody watched David Peterson?
I know
I have, going back to when he was with the Mets. And then we've watched him now with the Cubs. It hasn't been much better. That's my issue. Well, he stinks.
Yeah, I know. But it could be brand name bias, too, as everyone bets what they want to see and bet the Cubbies as well. How about the White Sox? Another great story. I'm buying in. 25 comeback wins, tied with the Yankees and the Rays. They've won 6 of 7, 7 runs a game. Another win last night. Rocker goes for Texas. ERA of 6 in his last 5. White Sox with a couple of injuries, though. Here's another one. I mean, this was as high as $1.25 on Texas earlier today. Now it's come down $1.08 here at Circa. And the White Sox, I think, are going to win that division. This is a great story, what's going on. And, again, the offense has been leading the way during this 6-1 run.
They know how to score runs, Pauly. That's what the White Sox have done consistently throughout the course of this year. They got to Jacob deGrom yesterday. A lot of people probably threw deGrom into like the 3-leg and the 4-leg parlays. Texas, deGrom on the mound. Got to go and take him. Not so fast, not so fast, not so fast. That Chicago team, that's their bread and butter. They're going to score consistently. This line has moved with them. I think they're the right side of the game. I will be on the Chicago White Sox later on tonight.
Okay. Also, let's fade the Padres again. I love your under bet. Alt wins under 81.5. They've lost 14 of 20. FanGraphs gives them less than a 10% chance to make the playoffs. Expected to be sellers at the deadline. The Braves are $1.40, $1.30 in that range at home. Total of 9. Will Hill likes the over. Bueller has an ERA of 20 in July. It's been ugly. So between how disappointing the offense has been, a couple games under 500, up to $1.50 now here at Circa, I like the Braves again tonight, and I think they get it done. And, I don't mind Will Hill's play over 9, but this is also a fade of Bueller, who's been so bad in the month of July, too.
I'd give it an endorsement. This is a family play with the Atlanta Braves. And I think you can look at San Diego now over the next few weeks. You go after them. Yeah. That would be my advice. I'm going after the San Diego Padres because you're getting, like there are positive market corrections for teams that have underperformed. In a way, Paulie, I think you're getting a negative market correction with the Padres because they shouldn't have the record that they do. They should have a record that's double-digit games under 500.
Mm-hmm.
They can't score at all. They have a ton of questions within the team. They've found ways to win a bunch of close games, and it helps that they have the best closer in the sport. So if they have a lead, it sets them up to go and win those close games. This Atlanta team, they should be salivating. Like, this is the perfect get-right series you want coming out of the All-Star break, trying to generate momentum in this back and forth now with Philly, trying to hold off as far as the NL East is concerned. Go and sweep the San Diego Padres. So at minus 150, I think it's a reasonable price and a price I would take. Braves, the right side in the game.
All right, let me pay off the tees. Amai goes tonight for Houston. He's favored against the reeling Marlins now, who have lost 7 in a row and only 18 runs during the losing streak. But Amai, if you want to play the Yerfie, he's got an ERA of 8 in the first inning. And the first batter of the game, you want to look at these markets, the first batter of the game has reached 9 of his 13 starts. That's nuts. He is 16-1 for most strikeouts tonight, but maybe the Marlins can make a move at the deadline. Total of 9 in this game. And the other great story is what's going on with the Nationals. They're above 500 this late in the season for the first time since 2019. Number 1 in runs, number 1 in home runs. Wood and Abrams on fire. A lot of people are playing their props, and especially you got to do it now that they're playing in Colorado. And a total of 13 tonight. It did stay under yesterday, but with Lorenzen going, this one could be a fireworks if you want to look at props and home run derby with those guys. Great stories. The Nats continue to get it done and playing good ball and above 500 as well. Did anything stick out to you there or else on the rest of the card?
Not going near a total of 13 or 13 and a half, something nutty along those lines. Miami Marlins, though, they better make a move. They want to be a playoff team. They do not have enough offensively. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, keep an eye on them. They get the pitching straightened out. That's the team, I think, in the National League that makes the postseason.
It's been too long. Pizzeria Tip Jar Open coming up next. You guys were ready and loaded for bear with a lot of Spain tickets, and we'll run them down coming up next on Follow the Money. So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Do you like the service at Mitch and Pauly's?
I don't tip. You don't tip?
No, I don't believe in it. Leave us a tip on your way out.
You don't tip. You don't tip. What do you mean you don't tip? You don't believe in it.
The guys crack open the jar and see what the listeners have left behind.
So what, no TV now?
It's time for the tip jar at Mitch and Pauly's Pizzeria.
Yes, love it. Been too long. Cough up a buck, you cheap bastard. There's a lot of tickets that have cashed, and the guys were creative, and you've been waiting a while. This is excellent. As always, send them in, ftm@vsin.com, or tweet at us. I mentioned this one yesterday that cashed. A $2 bet paid $8,800. Spain World Cup, Seahawks Super Bowl, Michigan College Basketball, Knicks NBA. Cash it. Another one. I put this on Instagram. $4.80. The return is $141,000. It was the Knicks to win the East, Spurs to win the West, Hurricanes to win the East, Vegas to win the West. He needs the Yankees to win the World Series for $141,000. Incredible.
We went over that hedge possibility. Wait
yeah.
until the World Series.
Yep.
Get the Yankees there. Dare to dream.
Let's start with Tommy. Argentina and Spain finalist. Winner. Aces to repeat. Dodgers to repeat. 103-1. Cooking with Crisco, kid. Good job. You got a shot. And I wouldn't want to go, and there's the ticket. Great job by Luke and the crew. I wouldn't want to see the Aces when it's money time in the WNBA
let me ask
playoffs.
you this, Paulie.
Yep.
As someone that is not a WNBA aficionado, what would you be more worried about? Aces repeating, Dodgers winning 3 straight?
But I think it depends on. I think I'd be more confident with the Aces, because still you have to respect the Phillies and that pitching staff. And if you're buying, I think you have to buy the Brewers, because you're looking at the Miz and a team that's going to win 100 games.
Yeah, I'm not there with the Brewers. You could sell me on Philly. I'm not there with the Brewers.
Okay.
But fair enough. Okay.
All right. And he also did the same thing. Tommy, Argentina, Spain finalist, winner, Dodgers three-peat, and he put the Lynx in there. He added the Lynx. They've also been, they have the best record in the WNBA, led by Miles. Rich in Canada, July 3rd. PCA MVP, Caminero MVP, 250-1. Hard to fade Ohtani. Much like Asia Wilson.
Yeah, that's the problem. If Ohtani comes, he's not pitching at the moment, but if he just plays and doesn't miss like 6 weeks, it's like an automatic, he's going to win the award.
Yep.
I do think there's a pathway, though, Pauly, for Caminero to go and take the MVP away from Yordan Alvarez. If the Astros fall out of contention,
I agree,
and Caminero has a monster second half and let's say leads Tampa to the AL East crown, I think there's some life with Caminero going and winning the award.
Gordon in Oregon already cashed. It's a winner. 154-1. Spain wins the World Cup, Andreeva French Open, and earlier he had Army and Navy moneyline bets that already won. So his ticket was capped off by Spain, and you had him as well. But he had Spain. He must have been losing his mind. Argentina, 107 minutes without a shot on goal, and this thing might go to penalties. But he pulls it out, and 150-1 shot comes in, and a great job. That's a winning ticket for Gordon in Oregon. Well done, my friend. Jerry in Florida. Texas Tech, Boise State, Miami, Florida, Navy, all to win their conference. 42-1. Not bad. Like it. And Brad Powers is on Navy and Boise State and Texas Tech. And I know Phil Steele was on with you Sunday and likes Navy to make the playoff.
Talking up Navy, you're absolutely right about that. Navy getting a lot of love from our quote-unquote experts. Give them credit. And listen, Phil's great. Brad's great. I think I got to take notice, at least on the midshipmen. I think I got to be in on this, Pauly.
Doable schedule, no doubt. These are very creative, unique. Jack in West Virginia. The AL East team wins the World Series. AFC West team wins the Super Bowl. Northwest Division team to win the NBA title, and the Florida Panthers win the Eastern Conference. That's a lot there, but it's creative, but a lot has to happen. And
okay, who's in a Northwest? Who's in the Northwest in the NBA? I love that I don't even know the divisions. I'm like Ryan Tannehill on Hard Knocks, where I got to look it up. You know,
but that's Denver, Denver and Minnesota, right?
Northeast,
Northwest.
Well, Northwest Division. Oh, so you get Oklahoma City in that too. Oh, that's nice. You get Oklahoma City, which is huge.
OKC, Denver, not bad. Adam Chernoff. Bowers to have the most receiving yards in the first 3 weeks of the season. 35-1.
Ooh,
where the hell was that? Luke, where is that offered? That's incredible. Boy, is that a unique prop. And he's got a great breakdown on X. He sent it in about much improved quarterback play. And Kubiak is creative and ready to go from the get-go. And look what he did with JSN out of the gates as well. Their go-to guy.
You could sign me up for that, Paulie. I think that's a great bet from Adam.
I like it too.
Because they're going to want to get Bowers going after his injury-plagued season a year ago. And there's not exactly a whole lot of playmakers on that Raider offense that are keeping you up at night. You know what I mean? Like, he is going to be force-fed within the offense. And if it's Kirk Cousins or Fernando Mendoza, whoever it might be, your best friend is a tight end who could get open, especially on third down. So at 35-1, they're going to be trailing in a couple of these games. Let's go, man. I'm tailing Adam on that one. I like it.
I think I said yards. It's touchdowns. And it's still very good. Touchdowns. This is from Javi. Tigers win the AL Central. Lions over 10.5 wins. Raiders over 5.5 wins. 23-1. There's the ticket. Beautiful.
My biggest problem with that one is the Raiders.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could get to 6.
That's a brutal division. Okay, fair. Sorry, bookie on X. Scheffler to finish top 10 in the 3M this weekend. Fever win the WNBA. Mariners win the American League. Texans win their division. 275 to 1. I don't like it. The Fever don't defend, don't play any defense, and the Mariners cannot get this offense going. Can't see it.
I'm with you, especially from a Seattle standpoint. I mentioned it with Seattle yesterday. Their best hope, I think, of winning the American League, they do not match up well with the Yankees. They got to wish and hope the Yankees are not going to be there in the ALCS because the matchup historically has not treated them well. The only thing with Scheffler, he's automatic top 10 in every single one of these tournaments. Now that the major season has come to a close, is he going to be as dialed in week after the British, traveling? I'm with you. That's it. That's a no for me, dog.
All right.
That's a no.
That's enough. 3 more left. I like them. These are good. Tim, Spain wins the World Cup winner. Rays win the World Series. Rams Super Bowl. Look at that. 457 to 1. That's your big boy. He's got a shot. Got to respect the Rays.
He needs to get the Rays in the World Series. You need chalk in the NFL, and you got to get the Rays in the World Series. The problem is you'd rather the football one go first, and then you could sweat out the baseball, but it doesn't work that way, Pauly.
Flip in Iowa. Mbappe, most goals, Golden Boot, winner. Stanger, top 5, finish at the RBC Canadian Open, which is a winner and cashed June 14th. So he has the Brewers. He has the Brewers to win the National League at 630 to 1 now because the first 2 have hit. Oh, this is awesome. Flip.
I can't get there with the Brewers.
Oh, come on.
The story would be incredible. I love the manager. I love Mizorowski. They have a bunch of gamers within the lineup. Pauly, there's just too much bad PTSD for me in backing them in the postseason games over the last few years. Can't get there.
Well,
I can't do it.
He certainly can maneuver. And he's going to win that division and hopefully be the 1 seed and hopefully makes the NLCS at the very least as well. So you like this. We were talking about this during the break. Chris Vasile sent this in. He's on the network all the time and covers. Chambliss to win the Heisman, 11 to 1. You like that?
Oh, I don't like it. I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
And when we were doing our spot yesterday with Brett, I wanted to bring it up. And, of course, we're talking about 10 zillion other things, so it didn't work its way onto the radar. I think Chambliss is beyond live to go and win the Heisman. He played great down the stretch.
He was awesome in the playoff.
I thought there was awesome in the playoff. There was a case to be made he could have declared for the draft because other than Mendoza, there was no quarterback worth the damn. If I were an NFL team, I would have been salivating watching him play for Ole Miss last year. And now it's like, hey, what do you got for an encore? Maybe a Heisman Trophy. How about that?
They returned 7 starters on offense. They go to Texas. They go to Florida. They get LSU at home, Georgia at home, at Oklahoma. Puts up ridiculous numbers, and they go 10-2, maybe even 9-3 if the numbers are ridiculous. Maybe it happens. You never know. But certainly that schedule's not as daunting as when you look at the price at 11 to 1 and how great he was in the playoff wins, especially how awesome he was in the Georgia game as well. Speaking of college football, we'll stick with a double shot of Brad Powers coming up next. Rapid fire, futures, make the playoff, week 1 plays, win totals, all of it with Brad coming up on Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, the Brock Bowers prop, by the way, is available at DraftKings. Great market that Adam Chernoff likes. That's receiving touchdowns to lead first 3 weeks. All right, college football time. Great to talk to Brad Powers at Brad Powers Sports, Brad Powers 7 on X. Get his preview magazine, get the newsletter. It's phenomenal. Does a great job. Again, check him out on X and go to the website as well, the most transparent sports bettor out there. He's on the Progressive guest line. Appreciate the time, and I saw there was some good stuff on X yesterday. Some people think that Kiffin should go to the playoff this year. What do you think of LSU, and what are realistic expectations in year 1?
Well, I would say that, at least compared to what the fan base's expectations are and what the average Joe media expectations are, I don't think there'll be a more disappointing team in college football this year, because I think what Jordan Rodgers said yesterday is what a majority of the fan base and a lot of the media thinks. They're thinking this is a national title contending team right away with Lane Kiffin, with all that transfers that he brings in, the number one transfer portal class. The reality, our reality, the betting market reality says, no, not so fast. I mean, LSU's win total is only 8.5. That doesn't say playoffs. And what specifically doesn't say playoffs is to miss the playoffs. LSU's like minus 195 right now to miss the playoffs, let alone win the whole dang thing. So, I took an early position on under 9.5 on LSU. My numbers, even right now, would lean under 8.5. I don't know if Sam Levitt's going to be, 100% healthy. Even if he is, I don't think he's that great to begin with. Lane Kiffin himself has tried to pump the brakes all off season about this taking some time. So, I'm not buying LSU this year.
Okay, Brad. Then there's Ole Miss. Chambliss comes back. Super fun to watch. Brilliant in the playoff. Heisman, live. Ole Miss, live to make the postseason. Where do you stand on them? Because they have similar odds to LSU if you look at the odds to win the SEC. Your take on the running Rebs?
So I guess I'm a little bit higher than the market. It's all relative to the market. I bet over 7.5 on Ole Miss because I think 7 and 5 with Chambliss and Lacey would really scream ineptitude by Pete Golding, and I do think there's a chance of it. But I like that they get LSU at home. I bet at Ole Miss in that game, so I do think they win that game. We'll get to find out right away. A tricky game against Jeff Brom and company in the opener against Louisville. That's a dangerous game, and they also got Florida in September. So at least we don't have to wait until October to figure out what we got with Ole Miss. But I think Chambliss easily a top 5 quarterback, and I don't think he's 5. When we're just talking, I'm not talking about the next level in the NFL draft. I'm talking about college quarterback production, winning a game for your team. I don't know if there's anyone better. Lacey coming back. I do like what they did in the portal defensively. So I'm over 7.5, but that's all I'm willing to go on them. I'm not, running the window for them to make the playoff or betting a long shot for them to win the title.
How about Georgia and their win total?
Oh, I bet over. I mean, maybe it's square as can be, but I mean, are you kidding me? They haven't lost 3 games in a regular season since Kirby Smart's first season.
Yeah.
And Kirby's already been there 11 years. This is his most experienced team that he's had in 11 years as far as returning production. Now, that can also say that, hey, these guys weren't good enough to go in the first round of the draft, so they came back an extra year. And I do think there's a little bit of that, but, I like Gunnar Stockton as far as coming back for another year. I think he takes a little bit of a next step. He's going to have to because they do lose that branch at wide receiver. I'm not wild about the wide receiver position, but I love the running back position for them. Defense will be fine. And again, the schedule. I mean, I think Georgia will be favored in all 12 games, including at Alabama. You don't believe me? You can bet the game right now. Georgia's a 3-point favorite. So, even if they were to lose at Alabama, at Ole Miss, you're still cashing that ticket. And I know it's heavy juice, but, again, I'll make another square comment here in the square chair. Last I checked, you don't have to pay the juice when you win. And Georgia's going 10-2.
Amen. Good breakdown. Excellent, my man. That's strong. Okay, Big Ten. This Penn State schedule is a joke. And plus 350 to make the playoff. You can go over 8.5, minus 150. You can go over 9.5 plus money. What do you think Campbell does in year one?
Yeah, I don't love the hire. I don't think he's going to be an upgrade over James Franklin. But what I do like is, I could see the pathway for 2 reasons. Number one, there's a lot of continuity as far he's bringing basically his Iowa State team over with him, 13 starters from last year's team. Now, that was a team that went 8-4 in the Big 12. And you're thinking, hey, they're making a big leap up in competition. Well, are they? Because last I checked, and the biggest, I think, pro for Penn State this year is that you mentioned the schedule. There's no Ohio State. There's no Oregon. There's no Indiana on the schedule. I think they really catch USC in a good spot in that whiteout game. I think they beat SC. So, even if they were to lose to Michigan and Washington, a 10-2 Big Ten team's probably making the playoffs. So if you're looking to bet a little to win, more than a little, I'm not going to say a lot at 3.5, 4-1, but I don't mind that bet on Penn State making the playoffs this year.
Okay, Brad, last year, season for the ages for the Indiana Hoosiers. Mendoza goes to the NFL. He's the number 1 pick. Signetti's as good as it gets. What he did at Indiana is one of the best coaching jobs in the history of sports, period. Never in a million years did I think Indiana Hoosier football could go and be a national champion. So, what did I have in store for an encore?
Yeah, I'm done doubting what Signetti can do because I doubted it a little bit last year, coming off a season, his first year, where I upgraded their power rating 17 points. They make the run in the playoffs. I thought it was more that, being advantageous schedule they took advantage of. Got exposed a little bit against Ohio State and Notre Dame that first year. And then last year, what did I do? I upgraded their power rating from the start of the season to the end of it, 17 points again. So 5 touchdowns. I've upgraded their power rating in 2 years. Never been done in the history of the sport. He knows what he's doing. You look at his portal class, obviously Hoover coming in from TCU had a better career at TCU than what Mendoza did at Cal coming over. So I think Hoover's in store for his best season yet. Love Marsh, the wide receiver from Michigan State. Richard, the Boston College running back's good. He took a couple of defensive ends from Kansas State. He watches film. He knows what he's doing. He's not overpaying for players. And the schedule, they're only going to be an underdog maybe in one game, and that would be a home game against Ohio State, maybe the biggest home game in the history of Indiana football. And we're not talking about a big underdog role. We're talking about maybe 1 or 2 points. So I fully expect Indiana to be back in the playoffs for a third straight year.
I was talking to some of my guys in Ohio, and they like the Buckeyes under. And they put that at Texas, at Iowa, at Indiana, at USC, Oregon at home. What do you think of the Buckeyes and also the Week 2 matchup at Texas, please?
Wow, that's shocking to me. They like under because, the last time – I'm going to exclude the season when Fickell was the interim coach, and deservedly so because, Tressel gets fired in May. Pryor and a bunch of players are suspended for the season, so that season doesn't count. Why am I bringing that up? Because you got to go all the way back to 2004, the last time Ohio State lost 3 games in a regular season. Just like, the Georgia bet. I'm going over 9.5. I think, there's some tough games, but, they're going to have to lose 3 of them, and they'll be favored against Oregon. They're more than a touchdown favorite against USC. I just said they'll be a 1 or 2 point favorite at Indiana. The Texas games pick them, and, boy, you're going to trust Sark in a big game? I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't see 3 losses here. They got the best offense in the country. They got the best, pound for pound, the best player in the country in Jeremiah Smith, in my opinion. Defense, I thought they did a sneaky good job in the portal, especially I think their defensive line will be fine. I like the Buckeyes, so over 9.5 for me. They're number 1 in my power ratings.
Okay, excellent.
Brett, I want to circle back to the SEC. 2-horse race, Texas and Georgia. Okay. Give me the team, though, that can go and challenge those big boys. Is there one in that 3 to 6, 3 to 7 range that we should be circling?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's kind of the question because I do think, those are the 2 commodities that I'm certainly most confident in. I'll be really stunned if neither one of those 2 wins the championship when it's all said and done. I'll give you 2 teams. One, if it's just pure power rating, it's Oklahoma's next in line. I love their defense. It's one of the best defenses in the country. I think material will be better. Keep in mind, he was okay at the start of the last season. Then he broke his hand, and then he wasn't the same quarterback. So from a power ratings perspective, I like Oklahoma. I don't like Oklahoma's schedule, though. It screams maybe 8-4, 9-3. The schedule I do think is sneaky susceptible for a team making a little bit of a run is Alabama, believe it or not. And I'm not wild about Alabama, but look at that schedule. I fully expect them to be 5-0 when they host Georgia. And they've had Georgia hasn't beaten Alabama in Tuscaloosa in 20 years. So I think there's at least opportunity. I got Alabama favored in 10 of their 12 games. So if Keelan Russell, hits that high upside like I think he's capable of, the quarterback, and gives them more upside than what they had a quarterback last year in Ty Simpson, I think Alabama's back in the playoffs. And I did project them to make the playoffs. I bet them it was plus 165, and I bet that yesterday.
All right, this is awesome. Another segment with Brad Powers coming up next. Miami, Notre Dame, some Week 1 plays, odds to make the playoff, and some win totals that he likes as well. Get his preview magazine and follow him on X at BradPowers7 and BradPowersports.com. The weekly newsletter is phenomenal. And again, you'll love the preview with all the bets. The upcoming college football season. Get it now. More with Brad coming up next on VSiN Follow the Money, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158. Sit tight.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Great spot with Brad Powers. Another segment. Go rapid fire here in college football. So let's quickly touch on the ACC, Brad. Miami almost wins the national title. They bring in Mensa as a transfer at quarterback. 13 wins last year, the huge meeting November 7th at Notre Dame. What do you think of Miami?
I mean, obviously, the clear-cut prohibitive favorite in the conference. A conference that Miami still has never won since joining in 2004. So can they just take care of business? Because, I mean, even on a neutral site, I would favor them by 10 over SMU, the second-best team in that conference in my power rating. So this needs to be the year where they do so. Only underdog role be in South Bend and Notre Dame. Irish looking for revenge. Fully expect Miami to be back in the playoffs. Mensa, a lot of people like him significantly better than Carson Beck. I don't. I think there's obviously a chance he could be a slight upgrade, but he turns it over just like Carson Beck. I mean, Mensa, led the nation in fumbles last year. Where Beck, those two games was turnover prone in those two losses against Louisville and SMU last year, and obviously ended the season with a turnover against Indiana. So if they play a little bit clean, I think Miami. Malachi Tony's the best slot receiver. Mark Fletcher's a great running back. There's still plenty of talent on the defensive line. Offensive line will eventually come together. I like the Hurricanes this year.
All right.
Okay, Brad. Futures market. You've made a bunch. I know some of these numbers have moved, and that's the way it goes over the course of the summer. But as we sit here on July the 21st, if there is a futures bet that is still available that somebody like myself or the listening audience should jump on immediately, give it to me. What would it be?
Oh, wow. I mean, I made 180 bets, and I would
I know
still
you
say
made a bunch.
maybe,
I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
I would say like probably 60 or 70 of them are still in price range. I mean, I'm not betting them if I think they're just a little bit off. I'll go to some stuff that I bet here this week, so not like, 2 months ago or 6 months ago even. I like, you get anything Boise State to win the Pac-12, anything plus 150 or more. I mean, I bet it just, I think 48 hours ago at plus 194 to win that conference. I think they're better than last year's team. And last I checked, this is a team that, won the Mountain West each of the last 3 years. And, I know it's a new conference, the Pac-12, but it's basically, same conference as the Mountain West. So I like Boise State to win the Pac-12, the new Pac-12.
Okay. How about playoff bets? And like New Mexico? How many of those did you make at big prices? Like group of five at big prices. How many you made? If you can make a case for a couple
it's a good
teams.
question because I treat the group of five market kind of like a conference. So you're going to get one bid, you're going to get a winner. So I try to keep my portfolio. The power of conferences to make or miss the playoffs one thing. To make the playoffs for the G5 or G6 now is another. I told you during the break. Speaking of the old Mountain West, which is still a conference, I think maybe sneaky UNLV or New Mexico could come out and not only win that, those are the two favorites in that conference, but maybe even make a run if you're looking at highest projected win totals for the season. And obviously the committee values wins and losses more than anything. Would not be shocked if UNLV or New Mexico ends up getting in. UNLV was right around 12-1, New Mexico 16-1 to make the playoff. Obviously Boise State's at the top. But they're priced that way as far as a power rating. The Americans is a mess this year.
Yeah.
Because, Navy lost a lot, and yet they're still the favorite. It does worry me that they lost Horvath and Heidenreich and all them guys that were like 3-year starters. So I think this is one year where the American doesn't get it. If you're looking for a super long shot, I think Toledo, sneaky upgraded head coach, major upgraded head coach. And that's been an underachieving program, even though they've won more games than any team in the MAC. I'm telling you, they should have won maybe 15 more over the last 10 years.
Yep.
I think Toledo, I bet them 150-1 yesterday to make the playoff.
You've been all over Candle for years, no doubt about it. How about North Dakota State coming into the Mountain West? What do you think of their win total?
Yeah, good question. I originally faded it. It opened 9.5. I thought, wow, 10-2 is a lot to ask, especially when you look at the schedule. You look at the other remaining teams in the Mountain West that are in the mix there, right along with North Dakota State to win it. They got to go 2 Air Force, 2 Hawaii, 2 UNLV, 2 New Mexico. Splitting them would be an achievement, plus winning all your other games. So definitely under 9.5. I know it's currently 8.5 in a lot of spots. I liked it so much that I think 8-4 is the most likely record for them. They lost it. When you look at personnel, they lost their two best players. They had two guys drafted, and then a couple of the other better players transferred out, including a linebacker to Michigan. So the upgraded strength of schedule, the added travel, and losing their best players, I think 8-4, and I think that'd be a solid first season for them.
Interesting.
Brad, there's usually a team in the top 10 or the top 15 that falls flat on their face every year. There are countless examples of it. If you had to give me one, most likely to go fall flat on their face. Seems like you're out on LSU this year in Kiffin. Is that the team, or are you going to give me somebody else?
Well, that would be the first one that comes to mind. I think Ole Miss has some combustibility, just because I don't like the Pete Golding hire, and that might not work out. And the win total is only 7.5. They go 7-5, then people are like, "Wow, this guy stinks." But I'll give you another team out of the SEC that I think falls flat this year: Texas A&M, who I think was kind of fraudulent last year. They didn't play anybody really in the SEC until their last game, and they lost to Texas. And in the home playoff game, managed 3 points. I am out on Marcel Reed. I don't think he's that great. And I think we're totally thinking differently of the program if Notre Dame doesn't miss an extra point, or A&M doesn't, convert a 4th and 11 touchdown pass with 10 seconds left to win that game. Because we'd have said, 10-2, but a fraudulent, didn't beat anybody. They also lost A&M 10 players to the draft. That's the most in school history. 7 at the line of scrimmage, including 4 offensive linemen. So, and then on top of that, schedule's much more difficult this year. So I think they're an 8-4, and people think top 10, and I think they're an 8-4 type of team.
How about the Irish? How many games do they win? Do you have them power rated top 3?
I did bet under 11.5. I just think a lot of things have to go right to go 12-0.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I love the team as far as a power rating. I got them number 2 behind Ohio State. I got Oregon 3. So they're right there at the power rating. The biggest reason I love Notre Dame this year is the schedule. I mean, they're going to be a double-digit favorite in 11 of their 12 games. The other one being Miami at home, where they're about a touchdown favorite in that game. So when we're talking highest projected win totals, they have the highest in the country. So you got to like that. They got plenty of motivation. I think, we think differently of them. If, they lost 2 coin flip games at the start of last season, they win one of them, and you're thinking, boy, in the last 2 years, Notre Dame's been as good as anybody. So that's how my power ratings basically treat them. CJ Carr, I like CJ Carr quite a bit. The problem is they don't have really anybody behind him. So he cannot get hurt, because I think he's the most valuable player in the country, worth more than a touchdown, the spread. Where teams like Oregon and Ohio State, their backup situations are actually pretty good, where if they get a quarterback banged up a little bit for a game or two, they'll be fine. But all in all, I mean, deserve all the praise that they're getting. On paper, this is the best Notre Dame team entering a season since, 30-plus years ago, probably, in the middle of Holtz's reign.
Okay. What's your favorite week 1 bet that's still available?
We'll keep the LSU fade train going for this segment. I like Clemson, believe it or not, plus 11.5. I think, obviously the program slipped. They lost 9 players to the draft, but I think this is the position that Dabble prefers. Not much expectations. First game for LSU and a bunch of transfers coming together to play with the expectations. LSU can be the better team, the far better team, win by 10. You still cash his bet. So I think it's a lower scoring game. And with that, I'll take the double digits. Give me Clemson plus 11.5.
Great preview magazine. Great to catch up with you, my friend. We'll talk soon. Keep up the great work. Appreciate a few minutes.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Here you go.
Thanks, Brad.
VSiN NFL betting guide out now. Whether you're betting futures, win totals, division races, MVP, Rookie of the Year, or Super Bowl, the guide helps you get ahead of the market before training camp begins. You'll find breakdowns of every team, projected win totals, best bets from the experts, futures, power ratings, and more. Get it today with the football special, just $175. The sooner you sign up, the more value you get. Full access, everything we do across every sport through the Super Bowl. Every best bet, every host, every guest, real-time betting splits, DK Circa, AI-powered prop projections, 24/7 video on the Watch app. Head to vsin.com/subscribe now, vsin.com/subscribe. Get it now. Yankees game rained out. Red Sox rained out. So we won't have the 15-game winning streak. So we got to wait on that for a day as well, as the weather's wreaking havoc. That's the update there. That's tough.
Paulie, let's just hope we have a Philly Dodger game tonight.
Yes.
Because you and I might be going mano-a-mano. This is like Creed and Rocky in the ring. We need that.
Yes. I got to go with Wheeler. I got to back Wheeler. But the way things are going, I don't think we're going to get that in as well. Okay. We gambled and we lost, but he's still a phenomenal guest. Now I'm hearing tomorrow morning. Day 22. LeBron indecision, but there is a bet to be made, and we'll get the thoughts from our guy Tony Rizzo on what's going to happen with LeBron and why it's taking so long and what the roster could look like to the team he's going to as well. That's straight ahead on Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158, always downtown and circle where it goes down. We'll talk to the Riz Man coming up next.